Hey guys, it's Courtney King here with King Realty and Management. It's Wednesday, so you know what that means. I am covering another investor landlord topic. Today we're talking about the general responsibilities that a tenant has when they are renting a single family home. And it looks like the light in the office turned off. Hold on real quick. It usually stays on a lot longer. It just completely went black. Okay, so today's video is the result of an interesting thing that happened to one of our landlords, one of our investors. And so we'll get to first the details on what tenants are responsible for, and then we'll wrap it up with the quick anecdote that I have. So with single family homes, which differ from a lot of like apartments or even other multifamily, smaller multifamily units, tenants generally are responsible for all the utilities. They're responsible for all of the lawn care front and the backyard. They're also responsible for changing out their air filters, watering the foundation, which is kind of a Texas thing because our soil is so full of clay and it just needs to be properly watered to minimize any settlement or movement of the foundation. Other little things that generally they're responsible for is providing their own refrigerator, as well as their own washer and dryer. A lot of the apartments that we manage come with a refrigerator and have either a community laundry area, or even some of our townhomes and single family homes do have washer and dryers, but those generally are non-warranted. So for example, if something happens to the washer or dryer while the tenant occupies the property, then the owner's not gonna fix it. The tenant would have to replace it at their expense, but that would be theirs to keep. They wouldn't have to leave their washer and dryer at the property. So let's jump to the story of why I even thought about doing this video. So there's a huge difference between real estate investor, and a homeowner or somebody that became a landlord by default because they had this house and they either couldn't sell it or didn't want to sell it and started renting it, okay? And so what I've noticed is that a lot of homeowners or landlords by default have quite a few attachments to their properties, and it's normal. I mean, especially if you've been in a house for many years, you have a lot of emotional attachments, and it's your baby, like it's your house. You want to make sure that it's being well maintained, okay? So oftentimes what I see with those not so traditional investors, those landlords by default, is that they are the light just went off again. Let me adjust this. There we go. They're so concerned with how their yard is being taken place. And this is bugging me. Hold on. Okay. Sorry, guys. See, that's why you gotta love live videos. Okay. So they're so concerned with how their tenant is taking care of the lawn. Like they want it to be like super well manicured and exactly how they have taken care of the property over the last 15 years, or whatever. And so what happens is they're so concerned with it, they say, okay, you know what? I'm going to throw in landscaping, which, you know what? I have people do it and have never had an issue, but in this particular case, there was an issue, okay? So they threw in the landscaping, so they were responsible for the landscaping and the tenant just didn't have to worry about it. So apparently the cable company comes and runs new cable lines. And I don't know if you've experienced this before, but they'll run the new lines, and then what will happen is they will leave them like exposed, so it'll be like on the surface for a brief period of time until they can send whoever they need to send to bury the lines. Long story short, and again, I don't necessarily have all of the details, but the landscaper that the owner had hired ended up somehow cutting one of the cable lines and damaging it. So the tenant had to call the cable company, and the cable company said, hey, we're going to charge you this amount of money to come back and make the repair because the landscaper messed up the line. Needless to say, my client was hot. She was like, why do I have to do this? And I politely explained that unfortunately it was your guy, and we provided advanced notice that they were doing this with the cable lines. And so we ended up working it out, but that's just one of the things that you do have to be aware of, that whoever you hire, if you are going to include landscaping as part of like your monthly deal to the tenants, whoever you hire is going to be responsible for any issues or damages, like even damages to sprinkler heads. So if they're mowing and they hit a sprinkler head and now it has to be replaced, that falls on the contractor that you hire, which ends up falling on you. So I just say, I caution people for including landscaping when you are renting out single family homes. There are quite a few cities that have very active, this light keeps going off, very active code compliance. And so if their code compliance is very active, then you will get a notification if the grass is high or whatever. So if you're in one of those communities, then maybe you don't worry about the landscaping because you know the city's gonna look out for it. But that's just to give you an idea. If you have a very high-end property, let's say 400,000 plus, then yeah, maybe you entertain throwing in landscaping so you know the company that's doing it. And hopefully the company that you use has a track record of doing it properly. So just a couple of tips. Sorry that the light keeps going off. Let me see if I move. There it is. If you have any questions, you can find me at kingrealtytx.com. We're on Instagram and Twitter at King Realty DFW. Obviously, you're tuning in to us on Facebook, so you know where we are here. Podcast should be coming out soon. A little bit of a delay because we weren't really feeling recording, but I will be sharing that with you soon. And then we've got some other really cool topics. I'm going to have an attorney on here pretty soon with me where we're going to talk about the arbitration clause in title policies, something that a lot of people don't know about. Also going to have a title person explain title policies, specifically the shortages or the amendments to the title policy, which is something that I need to learn a little bit too. So hopefully that will be of assistance to you as well. And again, you will see me again next week on Wednesday where I cover another investor related topic. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of the week and I will see you next time.